Okay, yeah, we alive. So so what's up, guys? We have an actual topic today, but yeah, it's me and the boy. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Ran the Gothic True.
Today, cause both of us, well, I had my birthday recently, and he's having his. Someone's having a birthday on Friday,
Saturday.
Saturday. Ah, um, so getting older and all that stuff. I just have one. Like we're gonna pretty much talk about maturing and finding self value with that. Definitely more of a mental health episode. So, first question I'd like to ask you, as you are the older one in the podcast, what advice would you give to someone in their early 20s to late teens?
It's the late teens. Party as much as you can, because once you hit your 20s, it's gonna hit different.
Uh, wow, that's gonna be wild. That is wild
Mm.
ass advice.
Yeah, it hits different because I remember being a teenager. I was like 19 when I first started drinking. I thought it was cool, and then once I hit the 20s, it's like it doesn't feel the same.
It's definitely a different experience because it's like now I'm supposed to.
Yeah, not only that, I'm able to buy it.
Yeah, and not worry. You have to buy it now. You don't want to
Yeah.
have to spend the money. Um, really, I can't speak on early 20s because I'm still in it. But like late teens, I can say yeah, don't take things as serious as it's gonna be because to be honest, high school is not really gonna matter that much. And depending if you do go to college, because again, it's not for everybody. Um, yeah, when you go to college, it's a totally different experience. People aren't looking at you the same way they looked at you in high school. They don't care if you're cool or not. They care if you're like a chill person to hang out with. Like that's the one piece of advice is that enjoy your time while you have it. Cause trust me, I'm 23 now. I did not expect like life to go by that fast. Like, did you? Like, let's say you're 18. Like, did you expect like to
No.
be in your like 20s and be like being at getting as old as you are now? What are some life experiences you would share for some people that you feel comfortable sharing?
Well, I could say is that once I hit my 20s, my first job in my 20s was a place called Labor Finders. We go there, check in, and they send us to wherever work needs to be done. Like we were sent to the Taco Bell arena
Oh, so like a
to
freelance job.
pretty much, yeah. But
Kind of
we get
reminds me of
paid.
Job
We get
Corps.
paid on the next day
Oh, that.
only $37.
Oof. Nope. For how long you
Yeah,
were working?
a couple hours.
Oh, that's still
The
not enough.
minimum wage there at the time when I first was there was $5.25.
525. Oh no,
Mm.
$5.25. My bad.
Yeah.
I was thinking ahead. I'm sorry. Um, same. My first two. Well, the first job I had was like literally a restaurant, but that was a while ago. Um, no. The first like a big official job I had was I was working at a comic book store last year, and it was a great experience. Don't get me wrong, but it was like three things had popped up. It was that the education field that I've been trying to get a job at was opening up because if you don't know, after like COVID, a lot of teachers left. Like it's so bad that it's hard keeping people to stay working there now.
Mm.
Like even with me, like they like at first I thought I was gonna get moved. They're like, no, we need you here because we barely have anyone working here. So it was like, okay, I'll take up the job. The second reason I had left is because I was on call for a while because you know that after like how comic book stores work is that when like big movies like Black Panther, Spider-Man, and all that stuff comes out is when like we get peak amount of people. But then it was like, or this works honestly for retail in general. After Christmas, it's extremely slow. Like barely anyone comes in unless it's like with a gift card or something, right?
Yeah.
And that affects sales. So sometimes employees are put on, like say, the first month you work, February you work, then it's like March and April is super slow. So they're like, okay, we got to put people on call because we can't afford to have, we don't have a lot of people. And I was like, I need a more stable job only because it's like I don't have any other source of income. And I was like, okay, I'm 22, I'm young, I'll find another job. immediately as I applied, I got an email from the district I work for, and they were like, okay, just come in. And no, they were doing Zoom interviews, but Zoom interviews
Mhm.
are a little bit more scary because you don't know if the environment you are in is appropriate. So I went in the living room, I was like, fuck that. Put on the best shirt I had and just did that, and then I had to go to class after the interview. So it was like, yeah. What do I have to say if you're like in your early 20s? Because I'm experiencing it now. Find a good job, find a stable job, but also like find a job that allows you to also have a social life. Like retail is a good thing, but I'm not gonna lie to you, you will be working like crazy hours, and sometimes you won't be working at all. I don't know much about fast food because I refuse to work it. Like everyone said, everyone should work a fast food job at least once. I feel like I'd curse customers out. It's bad. Speaking of like other jobs, you want to talk about some more jobs you've done? Because again, you've worked a lot. You've worked a lot of places from what you told me.
I only worked at 3 places. My first job was at 17, but I don't want to talk about that because there's not enough to talk about because I only worked there for 3 weeks
Uh,
or some shit like that. I don't remember. I worked at the fast food industry. I worked at Taco Bell for about a year and 10 months. I did cooking, I did stuffing, I did wrapping, I did customer service. I never was on the till. If what till means, it means being a cashier.
yeah, I was wondering like what that. So they
Um,
had you working a lot in the back.
yeah, mostly in the back, and they were trying to tell me, oh, you need to do work on the till. I'm like, but you guys need me more in the back though, because we don't have enough cooks.
So even the fast
But
food industry was going through like a lot of like not
the cool
having people
thing,
there.
yeah, the cool thing about it was I wasn't the only Mexican there.
Yeah.
Most of it was Mexican, and there was at least 2 to 3 white people working.
That's how,
We had one black guy working for us, but he got fired. I don't know why. I don't remember. Um,
that's
the
how
crazy
you,
part is the customers in that
yeah,
job.
I assumed. Because it's like Taco Bell is the place for where drunk people come in the middle of the night.
Yes.
It's that and Waffle House, and we saw how that experience goes. Collecting
we
chairs.
had customers try to go to the back to get their
Oh,
food. We had customers yelling at us. We had customers sending threats like they're gonna shoot up the place. We had homeless people shit in the drive-through, shit in the
what?
parking lot, shit behind the trash can.
I feel like the most sanitary place was probably behind the trash can, but ew. Like,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, you had an experience.
Oh yeah.
I know that a lot more fast food workers have had like stories to tell about working there. But, anyhow, moving on. How do you feel about your mental health right about now? Cause, as I said in the last podcast, mine was terrible last year. But it's like, even though we're only like a month into it now, like a month into 2023, I'm learning to accept like certain things are gonna happen. Certain people are gonna be in and out of your life, and you just have to learn to kind of accept it in a way. And you can't like let other people like dictate how you're feeling. But also, it's like, also just you gotta appreciate the smaller moments now. But I feel like
Yeah.
I didn't have that when I was like, cause I'll say this throughout like 2018 and now, I was not feeling myself. So it was never a moment where I clearly could say, oh yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I was like always in a depressive mood. So like, have you had that, like been going through that, or been having like similar experiences?
I've been having similar experiences. I remember last year when my dad died, I was experiencing depression like crazy. Like I felt like one of those people from COVID, like couldn't go out but I felt like closed in. I felt like other people that I talked to
Understood the experience.
didn't understand me. They didn't like they were trying to understand me, but I told them, you know what, I don't want to talk. I want to be alone. I'm sorry, but you guys are not in my circle of friends that
Yeah,
am
it can get with.
comfortable with and all that. Because I'm gonna say this now. I've been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. It's a borderline schizophrenia disorder.
Yeah,
But I always tell people I'm schizophrenic because it's part of it.
yeah,
Um,
and it's
what I
like
deal with, what I
definitely
deal
a
with,
harder thing to share, right?
yeah, it is because people look at you crazy, like, what? Really? You're on the spectrum of schizophrenia? What?
And I feel like,
Um,
yeah, that's why I'm like, mental health, I feel like should be shared more. That's why I was like, we're going to have like every so and so episode where we do talk about mental health and mental things that have been going on with us.
yeah, but I am currently off a medication that I need, but I made an appointment
Which is an
so
achievement anyway.
I could talk to my psychiatrist, ask what is going on, why I'm not getting my med anymore. Did the doctor stop prescribing it? What's going on? So far, I have not been hallucinating. I have not hallucinated with audio or visual images because I'm not stressed out as I used to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the only time the triggers happen is when I'm overly whelmed. And there was one time I hallucinated like crazy where I was asleep. I woke up and I saw a green figure and I said, "Hello, Mr. Green Man."
So that's how it works. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, that definitely, I can see how that could be a hard thing to really share. Because it seems uncomfortable to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, especially when like I have nobody to talk to about it, but I recently befriended somebody who is the same way as me, schizoaffective.
Yeah. Um,
And it feels great because I have somebody I could talk to about what's going on and all that. And they've checked on me, and
they understand. That's
I
great.
was supposed to have therapy today, but it got canceled because they're doing something else. There's something going on with another patient.
Yeah. But one thing I feel a little bit more comfortable nowadays sharing is I've had anxiety since I was like 16 or 17,
Hmm.
and I feel like it developed around that, and it was developed when I first started high school because my sister wasn't around. And it was like her and my mom have always been like safe people for me. And it's because like in high
Right.
school, I'll admit I didn't have a lot of friends really. I had some, and they were like a grade under me, so like I barely got to see them. Like those were the people I was comfortable with before I met you and Blake and stuff. So it was like whenever I have it, I'd have like anxiety attacks. I just had to deal with it, or I'd have to like go sit by myself. And even teachers thought it wasn't okay. They were like, he just kind of sits in a corner most of the time. And it wasn't until high school where I met like a couple, not high school, senior year, where I met a couple of people. But over time, like, I just didn't want to bother with them because they were not always
Yeah.
about like they weren't about what they wanted to do and stuff. So I was like, yeah, fuck that. But it didn't get bad until I started like the pandemic happened. It messed with my like people with anxiety. Usually, like we can sense out when something's wrong. But now since there's so many people like crowd around, like they feel a lot more public about crowding around. Because it happened to me like in the summer. We went to a store and it was
Mm.
like I blacked out for like 5 seconds. 5 seconds. And all I felt was like my mom telling me, she was like, no, she was like, we gotta do this and then we'll go. Cause she understands now. In the beginning, she was in sharing this is kind of it's her story too, but like sharing this is like she was not as how do I put it? It's hard finding a word. Look, concerned about it for me. Like she thought,
Yeah.
oh, he's just talking until like she's seen it happen. Like I'm not like it's basically showing I'm not fucking joking about this. I literally don't like being in crowds. It'll mess me up. And it's sort of like it's not a hard thing to share, but it was like in the beginning it was, but it was like I had my other best friend, she has it, and me and her been friends with the pandemic and stuff. So like we were able to talk each other down from stuff. Because she shared a couple of things with me. I'm not gonna say her name for privacy's sake, but I didn't know like she was agoraphobic, which means being in public crowds is bad. Like it's awful for her.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a similar situation with the anxiety because that's like I can't deal with a lot of people at the same time. And there are times where even like it'll pop up in non-public places. Like yesterday, I didn't want to like really call or talk to anybody, so it's like I'll just let the phone ring with some people.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of older people don't want to address it though with their anxiety though, or with any mental health awareness they have. Like, have you noticed that? And I mean, like, even
Yeah,
older than your generation.
yeah, I noticed it a lot, and I can see why. It's because people don't take it seriously until like last minute, like something bad happens.
Yeah, or like someone has like a full panic attack or something. Then they're like,
Yeah,
okay, it's real.
like my therapist said, the way how anxiety is like a spider sense,
Yeah,
like
it
Spider-Man.
makes a lot of sense. It's like sometimes you're like, it's what you're seeing. Sometimes it's blurry. So it's
Yeah.
like but you know what you have to do so to like point you in the right direction. And the thing is, I noticed that even like it's weird because I feel like the pandemic also did it to younger kids. Because working with younger kids, I see like we have one kid, and I don't want to say her name again, privacy. She's very young, doesn't talk.
Mhm.
In the first like 3 months, like I was like, okay, the first week she's just adjusting, but then it was like she doesn't want to talk, and when people ask her to do stuff, she starts crying. Like she literally the first 2 weeks we were supposed to go out, I was supposed to take her outside, and she started breaking down. Now she did talk to me, but she didn't talk to any other teachers, and she was just like, she was like, I want to go home, I want to be my mom and dad. And I was like, I can't do anything about that right now. But I need you to go outside in the playground. And even at the playground, she just sat on the bench. And I was like,
Yeah.
honestly, it's a lot of the kids were raised by at home on their iPad. And it got bad to the point that, well, yeah, it's starting to show now. Like, a lot of parents also aren't as involved with their kids anymore because they're like, oh, well, the pandemic, they spend enough time with me. Like, no, you have to be there 100% of the time now. But I'm like, it's usually the younger and the older generation that has it bad, and they just let it develop. Because I know in the black community especially, but is it like in the Latino community too?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know a bunch of them will pretty much deny oh, I don't have anxiety, I don't have depression, I'm not all about that. I'm like, bro, there's
Yeah,
no
especially Latin families, they don't want to see flaws. They think, oh, you're okay. It's just a phase or whatever. It's like, no, it's not a phase. I'm really having difficulty, being around crowds, being around drama. It's like, come on.
I feel like and when it comes to like, cause they don't want to see flaws with themselves. They feel like, oh well, I'll rate this person right now. I don't know about all that, Chief. But sometimes it's not even their fault. It's just how the world works. It is how like they are with other people or how their environment was. Cause again, yeah, we develop it from things. Cause my mom did an awesome job raising me. It just over time we put stuff onto ourselves that make it extremely hard. Cause I honestly do blame a little bit of my anxiety on myself. Cause I'm like, I take up too much stuff trying to be responsible for others. So when I got like,
Same here.
yeah, you
I'm
see it?
back and forth. I'm back and forth. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. It's like, okay, when am I gonna focus on me?
Yeah. Like, go ahead and share that experience because you go through a lot, and I feel like a lot of people
See,
understand
I take my niece to school, then I do some schoolwork, and then I pick her up, tend to her. Then on Tuesdays through Thursdays, my nephews are here. One of them doesn't need my attention because my brother gives him full attention. The oldest one likes to come and hang out in my room, play some video games, hang out, watch YouTube, like Pokemon or whatever. Then I'm doing it again. I'm picking up my niece, taking her to school. And then I tried at school in there, and it's tough.
Yeah.
Then I help my grandparents out, whatever they need. Like if they need me to do something, I do it.
Yeah.
And then I take out the trash every single day, like 2 to 3 times a day.
It's like a lot of
And
people put like a lot of work on you for that.
yeah.
I know these last few months, before the year ended was probably the most frustrating for me because I was taking like 6 classes just to get like to be done, and I was going to work, and as soon as like I'd have an hour before I had to go to work, and I had to make sure okay the house is all right and all that. And then it was like that summer I was taking classes, but it wasn't that bad because I wasn't working. But it was like my mom had went through a surgery, so I had to make sure she was okay, make sure like she was eating and stuff like that, and it was like
Mhm.
and she was only for 2 weeks with her surgery, so that's why I don't really give that up for anxiety. It was just like at this point, I got to a point where, I think it was in November, I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this anymore. Like really, I had just sat down once. I think it was on a Sunday. I woke up and I just like, I don't know why I'm like, I was like, I don't want to wake up anymore. Like this is bad, because it's like I've had like suicidal thoughts and tendencies like that,
Mhm.
but it was never that bad. Like it was like, because usually when you say it out loud, it's like, I can get over it, I can joke about it. But it's like when you say it and mean it, it's bad because like you don't even like talk about it all the time. But it's like you're in that mood where you're like, I don't know why I want to be here anymore. And it was even so like I know you heard it sometimes. I was like just joking around about it. I was like, and then I look
Yeah.
back up and I was like, that shit was kind of dark, dude. Like that went a little too far because it was already bad. Like I think where I had like it when I was a kid, my mom said it started when I was in elementary school. It was bad when my grandma had passed away. Like it was
Yeah.
so bad that the school had to send like a therapist for me like every day just to make sure like okay he's all right, he's not in the same mood. But then it came and I was cool for a while. Then it came back when I was like in middle school, my first year, and I was like it was because I wasn't used to that environment. And then it came back again in high school around 11th grade because I had just been I had got out of the hospital, and getting out of the hospital sucks for one reason. Everyone kind of treats you like, oh man, that person is so fragile, and it fucks with you because it's like I was okay 5 minutes ago. Shit, why the fuck I'm out here eating white rice? Like it was bad, but I feel like being able to stay and have a place to share it is kind of where it comes in because it's like I've never had a therapist because I was scared that like everybody's gonna be like, oh look, the crazy guy has a therapist. I was like, oh, but it was like I talked to one my like last week of high school and she was like, you can't just be stressing yourself out about stuff. So I was like, what am I gonna do like after high school? Like, I didn't like I'll go to college, but I don't know what I want to study and all that stuff. And I still really like going back at like as much as I like studying psychology, I was like, I don't know if it's fully something I want to do. So like that's another piece of advice I can give the younger generation. You're not gonna know what you want to do even after you get your degree or diploma or whatever.
Oh yeah, I'm starting to feel like that way too. I'm telling you, is it worth it getting a degree in fine arts? Like I'm doing graphic design, and that's the major hard thing in the field right now because people want free shit.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of projects are like bigger companies are like hiring lazier artists instead of people that are actually like taking their times with it. And it's like
Yeah.
yeah, even the field of psychology, I'm like everybody's getting the degree, but and like they're gonna say, oh, we need a lot of psychologists. But I'm like, a lot of people are getting it and not knowing what they're doing it for. Like me included. I'm not trying to have a high horse on it, but I'm just saying it's like, yeah, that's the major, and I was like, a part of me does regret getting that major, but another part of me is like, what else was I gonna study, like for really? Because I would
Yeah, that's
have,
what I like that too. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should do cybercrime. Then I saw that the school doesn't have it, so I'm like, you know what? I guess I'm meant to do graphic design, aka fine arts.
I know you don't believe in it, but like I always say, God works in mysterious ways. Or even if
Yeah.
you want to believe it on your end, the universe works in mysterious ways. So maybe like what we did is a good thing. Like there's a reason for everything. There has to be. Like, and like that goes into our second like topic. Like basically, um, self value, self worth. When you're getting older, how do you feel about yourself in general?
All right. I mean, I'm glad I'm still alive. I'm glad to see all these things that are happening, but I just wish our technology was just as advanced as Japan's technology.
Yeah, that's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the saying that everyone says, like, every day is kind of a blessing because you don't know. One day you just might not wake up or whatever.
Yeah.
Again, that's how I like call myself. I'd say I started getting a lot better mental health or like a lot better self worth in December. That's
Mhm.
only because I knew I could do what I wanted to do, which was like, pass everything because I thought I wasn't gonna pass college at all. I thought I was gonna fuck up or something. Surprisingly, didn't. I have a decent job. Knowing that a lot of people in my like age range either work like a job they don't like or a job that like or don't have a job at all.
Hmm.
Them and older, like I'm cool with that. Um, Again, I'm cool with waking up in the morning. I'm cool with seeing like you and all my other friends are doing all right.
Yeah.
Cause it's like that's always been a value to me that I always see like I'm like if the people I'm around are all right, I'm all right. Even my coworkers and stuff, because a lot of people have shitty coworkers. Mine, I'm glad to see when they're doing all right. I'm glad to see like when others are all right. But I'm like, the one thing that's making me glad is that it's like I can finally look at myself and say I'm happy with myself. Like everybody else, yeah, cool, but I finally found like that. Yeah, I'm okay with myself. I'm doing all right. And finding self value is kind of hard because like a lot of times we look at what we like the mistakes we have, right?
Mhm.
And we don't look at how to we don't look at what we've done so far. We look at what we need to do in the future. We need to like just stop and be like, okay, we did all of this, so we should be proud that we made it that far. Like, you agree or like what you got to say on that topic?
I agree.
Because I don't know. I feel like us being isolated, like everybody in the world being like isolated to their homes one day, that should have been like a big thing they like sat there and looked at. But I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people took it for granted, the extra time we have with ourselves.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people didn't look like we were all just wanting to go outside again. We weren't looking at, oh well, maybe this is the okay thing for us. I'm not saying all the other stuff like shit that happened in 2020 through 2020. I want to say 2021 or 2022 because 2022 kind of got a little bit better. I'm gonna say through 2022.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when things were getting get the teensy bit like back to normal. I feel like while all the other shit like was happening with the riots and stuff, like, but we didn't look at all the positives. Like, we had like we were isolated, but we were learning more about ourselves. We found ways to communicate with ourselves. We had ways of teaching schools to ourselves. Which, if we tried to do the Zoom thing like in the 90s, with the dial-up internet, would not have happened. Would not have happened. So I'm like, you gotta be, happy for that. Shit, I feel like a lot of people started talking to people they hadn't talked to in years because it was like, well, now you have the time to. Because I know that's what I did. Like, I talked to people I never really interacted with except like maybe at school or like, at a family gathering. I've said like hi to them and that's it. Like, it's a beautiful feeling, and it was wonderful to see that, but it was also like depressing because we couldn't be there with each other. But we found ways. And I feel like the self-value thing is like we looked at that, but you gotta remember we survived the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like people like stop looking at like, oh well, I don't look like this or that. I was like, you'll get there if you put work in. And even if you don't put work in, like just be happy with how you look now, or like be happy that you woke up to see another day. Like I've always said that about people because there's not a lot of positivity going around with it. And it's like, yeah, it messes with your mental health when you're always on like social media and stuff. So yeah, sometimes get away from your screens, bro. It ain't worth it. Cause I learned that too. I was like, yeah, I can't be on here all the time. And it was like the more times I was busy, the more times I was like, okay, I'm focusing on something else. So I was a lot better, but don't overwhelm yourself with busyness, cause that happened to me like the whole semester. That was the whole last semester was probably like bad, cause I had 6 different classes in 6 different fields. I was taking a media class, so that was technically that. I was taking a biology. I was taking all 3 psychology courses, and I was just and the African American Studies courses. It was pretty fucking bad, my guy. And then it was
Yeah.
like December. I thought I'd be like, okay, well, I have winter break. Nope, I had to take a winter class, but the winter class was a lot easier because it focused on film and television. So, yeah, don't do what I did, guys. If you have to take summer classes in between the years instead of on one year,
Yep.
yeah, you will definitely not. But yeah, no, I do want to hear how how like you got back to having some self value to yourself. So go ahead, Ren.
Well, the thing about me is that I'm surrounded by good friends.
Mm-hmm.
I have you, Blake. I have my friend Gypsy. I have the new friend that I made. I'm not gonna say her name because I barely just met them. Who knows how schizophrenic disorder is? Um, yeah, like the way I got myself back was therapy. I remember one day I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I'm seeing shit. I think I need help. So immediately made an appointment, and it was not great. It was not a good day that when I got the appointment.
Yeah, it was.
When I went there,
Yeah.
my blood pressure was high
Oh yeah.
because I was super nervous. I was scared they're gonna send me to a mental institution because I was gonna describe to them, and they immediately rushed me like they told me you need to go to the hospital. I told them no, I am here for my mental health. I need to get this done. I refuse to go to the hospital. So what they did was they talked, and then they gave me a paper. I signed it that I refuse to go to the hospital, and I'm risking it. And then I talked to the therapist, and then went from there.
The yeah, therapy is. I feel like a lot of people need to do it, and a lot of
Yeah,
people.
people don't believe in it. They believe, oh, it's not gonna work. I'm like, it does work. It's just you just have to find a therapist that actually cares about you,
Yeah,
that wants to help you.
that understands your situation.
Yeah,
Because I know a lot of people who just won't go or like they'll deny it, and I'm not gonna say names. So, but I do know like I'm pretty sure she'll be okay with me saying it. My sister, she was going through a lot of bad mental health stuff, and
mm,
she went to go see a therapy, and she's doing better now. And it's like it she has a moment of clarity where she feels like she's wasted her 30s, but as I tell her like not her 30s, her 20s, and I'm like as I keep telling her, I tell you guys, I'm like being passing 20 doesn't mean that you got to do all the fun shit you always wanted to do. And if you feel like you want to do something extra in your 30s, if you want to get back on track or you want to try to get on a new track, it's just not a thing. It's just how hard you work at it.
yeah,
I always tell people that I was like, you can be damn near 18 and have everything going for yourself too. You can be 40, you can be 60. And it took like me going to college because like I was going to college with 60, 70s, 50-year-olds, parents. And it was like, yeah, they were just trying to get themselves on track. But again, I always say college is not the only option for people. And the reason I
yeah,
always say that is like, their trade schools, shoot, jobs will take you right away. It's gonna be a little bit extra work, but you can make it. People have made it without that. You just have to put your work and talent. You can't have one or the other. You gotta just combine it and hope for the best. And you gotta take risk. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But don't like beat yourself up over it. Either try again or try something new.
yep. That's pretty much it.
And it was like, and even like going back and like looking at it, it was like I did talk to the therapist I talked to when I was younger, like recently, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't mind it. One of my friends, I'm just calling her Jay for now. When I told them about her, they were like, "Yeah, you gotta keep good people in your life around, like her." And I told her about you, and she was cool with that. And it was like, I was like, "That's it. You just gotta keep the people that matter around, because your biggest support systems are like the best things. Like my mom, like a lot of people don't have good relationship with certain parents. I don't have the best relationship with my own father, but I have the best relationship with my mom, and it's ridiculous because I'm like I didn't expect that. Of course you're in like 6 years of friendship, and it's been like there's been never been a time where I felt like if I called you, you were gonna ignore anything. My sister, we have our ups and downs, but I love her to death. Biggest support system. My two cousins, shout out to Janae and Javon, because I don't think I would be doing what I do. Like, even this, like, they're biggest supporters on here. Blake, of course, Blake would get mad if we didn't shout him out at least once. You know it. And he listens. He says he listens, so you know he's about to be mad. Like, where's I? Even the people that are listening now, like, I know you guys don't know us, but even us being able to share this and help you guys out with your own mental health. But again, if you want to talk about it, you can leave it in the comments down below. We do not have a SoundCloud yet, nor do we have Spotify, because I can't figure out how to upload on there. I think you have to be famous for that. But yeah, it just have a support system. It's wild. Even if you can't, even if it's not your family, it's your friends. Because a lot of my friends from college, and you guys know who you are if you're listening. They've been my biggest support system ever. Because I've never had like a big friend group like that. But me sitting back and recognizing like, oh shit, I've made a lot of friends when I'm older than when I'm younger. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. So get a support system, and again, don't be afraid to go to therapy. As Ren has said, it's gonna be hard the first time. You're gonna be very nervous, but
yeah,
as someone who's like barely went, go get that extra help. It's not not an easy thing. And I think we've talked enough about it.
Yep.
All right, Ren, you said you had we're about to go into a little bit of scary stories. You said you had one?
Yeah, there's this video that was on Twitter, and it's posted on the dailymail.co.uk of a toddler with a loaded handgun waving it around in the hallway. And I think he pulled the trigger and it went off.
Was it pointed towards anybody or just
empty
hallway? Okay, that's still not good.
Just the way the kid got caught, it was filmed by a neighbor, and the neighbor called the cops. The dad was in denial of the gun until they found it and arrested him for lying.
Yeah, because that's nothing to play around with. That reminds me of something that happened last week. You know, a teacher got shot by a student. The teacher was 5. Not teacher, the kid was 5, 6. So, like, I say first grade age. And the teacher, like, she was protecting the students because the kid just had a gun and he shot her. The teacher's, she's alive, she's okay. But she's in critical condition. And, like, the first thing I gotta ask, why is the parent, like, letting their kids walk around with a full gun? Because they said some backstory that he showed a kid the day before, like, bullets. He showed, like, another kid that's like, I'm gonna come back. Comes back and shoot the teacher. And there's not, like, we have no idea. We think the parent may be in trouble. Not a lot of the case is, known. That's what scares a lot of us. And it's, not a lot of people have said anything about it. It's really weird. And then a lot of people, they said that's another reason they don't go into the education field anymore. It's because it's like it doesn't feel safe anymore.
Yeah.
But I understand that, because it's like when you get there, like, you want to protect those kids with your life at any point, because me working at an education field, like, if something happens, I'm sorry, I'm putting the kids first before myself, because I'm like, they have a lot to look forward to. Like, they're kids, they're like 5, 4. So it's like, I understand now, but I'm like, how did the kid get a hold of the gun? More importantly, how did he get a hold of the bullets from the first time? And it's not, no one explains it.
Yeah.
That's weird though, that a toddler? How, like, they look 3 or 2?
They look like they're 2 years old, still in diapers though.
That is ridiculous. Yeah, that's on a parent's fault. That's negligent parenting.
Yeah.
But shit. Let's move on to a lighter topic. Did you get to see The Last of Us last night?
Not yet, but I heard it's really good from a lot of people now, and I'm like, wow. It broke the curse of video game adaptation.
You're probably gonna cry the first episode because they put a lot more development in some characters.
Oh man, Dr. Gotti Joe's losing his daughter again.
Now they give her a lot more character. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh damn.
Cause she you get a little bit of backstory in like the first 30 minutes. Cause it's an hour and 20 minutes. Damn near 2
Really?
hours. It's a group.
Damn.
It does this game so much justice. Dude, you seen anything like new this week? Anything good?
No, I haven't, but I know that the Trigon Stampede just came out.
I
Second
heard-
episode.
I think the second episode came out too. This week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw Nier, and I don't really like the first part of the game, but it did that, and I'm like, well, it did it 1-to-1, so it made it more interesting.
Mhm.
I'm currently catching up to My Hero right now because I've been like ignoring the anime that much. I've been reading the manga.
I'm waiting for the anime season to end. That way I could just binge watch it.
That's a smart idea. I haven't done it yet. What else have I looked at? Oh, I finally looked at Tick Tick Boom all the way through.
Oh
I
yeah.
had to do that for a school project.
Oh well.
Yeah, that was a good movie. But man, was it kind of depressing. Like toward the end was that one. It kind of hit harder towards that. But it was a good movie. If you haven't seen it, it's like on Netflix. But
I'll check it.
It's a musical, so if you're not into that, avoid it. But it's like the musicals are only like one. I said there's only 4 or 5 songs in there. But it's about the director who made the play Rent or musical Rent. So yeah.
Mhm.
But been 41 minutes. We did pretty good. Leave us any topics you want us to talk about down below. We're probably still gonna be more focused on a little bit more mental health and a little bit of chillaxing. Ren, you got any closing words?
Enjoy your 20s. Because once you hit your 30s, everything hurts.
I already got it. If you don't have a job yet, enjoy your freedom. Because when you wake up every morning at 7 and you hear bones, not 7, 5 o'clock, and you hear bones crack, yeah. Welcome to capitalism. Also, my last few words I want to say is, enjoy your 20s and, just, don't take everything so seriously. You're doing good. You're doing well. And no matter what shit happened yesterday, today, tomorrow, whatever, just know you did great today. Take a break, rest, or just keep going forward. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Because, there's only an image on the screen. Bye.
Se mostrar mais, ser Deus no céu.